Welcome to This Ought to Be Good. I'm DJ Mordecai. I am joined by my co host, Sam is on Prime. And you're muted, but we'll get your mic fixed hopefully soon. We also have our special guest, El Bravador. What's up, El Bravador? How are you, sir?
I'm all right, man. How are y'all? How are y'all?
We are good. Once Sam gets his mic fixed, and we got DJ Mad Mixer as well. What's up, DJ Mad Mixer? How are you?
Doing outstanding. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. Um, so maybe I'll start with Mad Mixer. Can you tell me a bit about your involvement with Z Rock Crew and Junior Funk Machine?
Brad and I, we started the Junior Funk Machine, wow, early 80s. Um, um, oh, wow, what's it? I mean, we've been together, what has it been, 44, 44
Not
years now?
40, 40,
Or
43, 43, because this is
43?
2024. We started in 81, so 43.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And what was your kind of role?
Um, oh, wow. um, Well, same as El Bravador and all. My time lapse, when the Z Rock crew came in, I had joined the military, so Brad, El Bravador, he kept it going. Thank God, and uh, he- then after the military, we always stayed in touch, and I always stayed with my music and then I just started accumulating things. Back then it was kind of hard trying to buy equipment at a young age and things like that. But now it's to the point where that we just want to keep everything live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So were you DJing and producing, or one more than the other?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, more DJing. Now I'm more into on the producing side, but I love the DJing part. I'm out here in Florida, so I've been working with a lot of local talent out here in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Do you still come back for the reunion jams?
Yeah, every time I never miss one. All Brad has to say is, "Hey, we're doing a jam. I'm there."
So going back to El Bravador, were you born and raised in Richmond?
Yeah, I was born right at on Westwood Avenue, right there at Richmond Memorial Hospital, 1965, October 4th. I was born right there. Been in Richmond all my life, except for when I started recording music. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when I started recording with First Priority, Atlantic Records. That's when I went to New York. I was in New York just about every weekend, and then I even stayed up there for a little small time,
Hmm.
what have you. But yes, this is where I'm from. This is home.
And what about your family or your like I guess sort of cultural ancestry? Are they all Virginia or
It's funny
kind of
you should
spread
say
out?
that. It's funny you should say that. I know we don't have much time on here, so I'm gonna try to make this as brief as possible. Up until maybe about a year or so ago, yeah, about a year or so ago. All my family I thought was from here, but I found out that my father, for all the years of my 57 years of living at that time, was not my father.
Mm-hmm.
My father was Greek, and my last name is a different last name. And I'll say it like this, man: ancestry is a mother. It really it's the real deal, man. It really is. I thought my only brother and sister I only have one sister, but my only brother, how we got into all this was from my brother Chocolate Chip. He's
Mm-hmm.
also a R&B radio legend, soul R&B radio legend. Thought he was my only brother, and found out I've got two other brothers who
Wow.
I have met, and we've talked. I just talked to my other brother, Nico and Dino are their names, and yeah, they're actually black and Greek as well.
Where are they located?
One is in Maryland and one is out in Nevada.
Wow, that's wild.
One of my brothers, the one that's in Maryland, he works on spaceships. and
That
that's
was something that you wanted to do, right? You wanted to be in space.
Man, yeah, I wanted to be an astronaut. I did not have any. I mean, I've always liked music. I always wanted to DJ like my brother, but I didn't think that I would be doing this. My plans were to be an astronaut, but schoolwork wasn't complimenting that enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I grasped into music and DJing and then, dove into hip hop music, that's been my life. That's been my life to this point now. That's been my life.
And how about you, Mad Mixer? Are your ties all from Virginia or in America, or kind of spread out?
Well, I'm originally from New York. I grew up in a military family, so we traveled all about. But when my parents decided to settle in Virginia, that's actually where Brad and I met. And his brother, Chocolate Chip, has been one of the greatest inspiration on me wanting to play music. And then after being, learning from Chip, I found out that I had a cousin that was really deep into music, and David Hobbs, Mr. Mix, he's a DJ for 2 Live Crew, and found out he was my first cousin. So I learned a lot on that end, and it just, found out that our family was very music orientated. So we had a lot of great influences, in our lives coming up, to be so young, trying to get into it. But ELBRAVADOR's brother Chip was the biggest inspiration.
Yeah, this is a wild interview. We're only 10 minutes in, and I didn't realize your cousin was in 2 Live Crew, and I didn't realize ELBRAVADOR had 2 brothers.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Black brothers.
Hey Tess, you guys hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead if you got a question.
Oh no, you're good. Apologies. This happens every time, so
yeah,
you guys aren't special.
It's all good, man. It's all good with me.
My buddy Professor Scratch stopped by right around the
Same
time
here,
that I
man.
was
Same
setting
here.
out the link, so took me a second to get everything going. But ELBRAVADOR, can you tell us about? And we talked a bit about it yesterday. The beat is bad. Like, what was that beat made on?
The Beat Is Bad was made on a Boss Dr. Rhythm. Fresh did that. Fresh, who I hope he still will be able to chime in. He said he was going to try. He had to take care of some family business, but he said he still was going to try to. You might see him pop in a few. I just sent the link to him. But Fresh did that beat on a Boss Dr. Rhythm, and he let me hear it. He didn't even tell me he was doing it, and he just let me hear it. And I'm just like, whoa. And he did it with a Boss Dr. Rhythm. We had 2 tape decks. We just switched the tape to the other tape deck, recorded on that. We just flipped the tape. That's something we used to do back in the days. We didn't have a 4-track. We didn't have any money. So we didn't have any recording equipment or none of that stuff. Fresh just was very ingenuitive, I guess that's the word to say if I'm saying it right. But he was a genius in a way. He knew how to flip that tape, do it this way and that way, and then the pause mixes and stuff like that. I mean, really, I actually have a version of it that survived all those years that was sent to me by a guy named Chris Rattery. And I took it and cleaned it up with today's technology, and it's pretty decent. As a matter of fact, in the documentary I did, Hip Hop Legends of Central Virginia, about 6 years ago, I actually have it in the documentary where you could hear it in the background. But yes, he did that with a Boss Dr. Rhythm, scratches. We had just got our 1200 turntables, scratches, and just switching those cassette tapes to one tape deck to the other, and we put it together. Had no control over the levels or anything like that. It just came out.
That's great. How about you, DJ Mad Mixer? What was your weapon of choice for production, and what is it now?
Oh gosh, back then it's like Brad said, we really didn't have any money, so um, the weapon of choice was whatever we can get our hands on. But now I'm using the Akaya MPCX, and so now that they came out with
No, don't be modest, Barry. Tell everything you got. This man is going to get kicked out of his house in Florida. I can only see now he's going to pull in front of the house with a U-Haul. Brad, I got put kicked out the house. And the U-Haul ain't going to have no furniture in it. There's going to be all of the equipment he's bought in the last year. This man has got equipment that you would not believe. And I'm like, man, if you don't slow down, but it's a blessing that he does have it, man. I mean, Barry, you might as well tell him everything you got.
Yeah.
And what have you been cooking up? And what have you been cooking up to?
Well, I've been pimping out a few sets of my 1200s and looking at expanding. I'm building up a collection of 1200s. So I have 3 sets right now. I have a expandable up to 48 track, recording studio. Everything pretty much, top of the line. I learned to buy it once. But, honestly, if it wasn't for Brad and his knowledge, with the technology and everything, I probably wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that I have. And every time before I was buying something, he'd be the first one I call, like, hey, what do you think of such and such? And, between the keyboards, the synthesizers, I love sound effects. So, and then with, the amp rack, I ran out of room, so I have to get another amp rack, and Brad's not helping out any. So, because he won't give me a place to live if I get put out.
I already told you. I told him. I said, man, look, you need to chill out. But, I mean, it's, coming from where we came from in the early 80s, and now, I mean, everybody has their own sets. Fresh has his own sets. Fresh does master mixes that he puts on the station that I have, WQ Mix Worldwide Radio. Barry's working on a monster master mix that he's going to do, and he's able to do it with the equipment that he has. Me as well, the stuff that I have now, I would not, as you see in the background, this is my studio. And I've outgrown it. If I could swing the camera around, you would see. I've outgrown it already. I've had it about 7 years. So we got to enlarge this now and whatnot. We would have never thought we'd have anything like this when we first started in 1981. We were just wondering, okay, where do we go from here? From the gigs we were doing to just where do we go from here? Even with the Z-Rock crew. Fresh and I got on the radio, and then we recorded a record first. And then we were like, okay, we're on the radio now. Where do we go from here? And stuff. And then we started buying equipment little by little. Fresh and I had equipment together, and then I branched off and started building mine, and then he continued to build his. So, I mean, wow. We all have the capability to make records now, to make songs, to make everything that we ever wanted to do. We're blessed to be able to have it now.
You keep bringing up DJ Fresh. He's able to join us. Here he is. DJ
there
Fresh.
He is. Hey, Fresh.
There he is. How's it going, Fresh?
Yo, how's everyone?
Hey, DJ Fresh, what's up?
Fresh, I was just touching on when we were, they wanted to know how we did the Beat Is Bad, and I had to, of course, you and the boss, Dr. Rhythm, you were just, a genius with doing that, just switching tape deck to tape deck and things of that nature, because we didn't have any money for a 4-track. We barely got 1200s. A friend of ours got us the 1200s, to help us,
The poor man's overdub.
The poor man's overdub.
Yeah.
CC Bird's checking in on Facebook. She says, hey, fam, y'all show on Comcast was amazing. Also, one more guest I wanted to bring in, but he may be having some technical issues. I'm going to try and bring him on and see if we can hear him. Mike Street, can you hear us?
Mike.
Mike Street.
He's
up,
pointing at the
Mike?
headphones saying he can't hear us. Can you hear us or no?
I don't even know if y'all can hear me.
We can.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Mike.
Okay, well, I can't hear y'all. Am I supposed to be talking now?
I
You
mean,
can.
yeah, you can talk. They're asking you questions.
Yeah, you can.
He's at the.
You talk. You talk. Check your mic. Check your mic. Check your mic,
Am I
Mike.
back?
Can you hear us?
We might have to get him to join back later. He's at the Richmond Jazz and Music Festival.
Oh,
so.
he probably can't hear
Yeah, I can
because
hear it.
everything's going on out there. Yeah, that's why he can't hear us.
We can definitely hear it.
Check back
Yeah.
in with him. All right,
Yeah,
sorry
he'll
about
come
that.
back. Yeah.
So I've heard El Bravador tell the story a few times. Maybe I'll ask DJ. Is DJ MC Fresh, right? Like,
Yes.
Can you talk about the formation of the Z Crew and like what it was like spinning at the Infinity Club?
Oh man, we were kids. It was great just being with the older people at that time, and it was just we just wanted to be involved. We love music, love hip hop, love everything about it, and we just wanted to contribute, be a part of it any kind of way we could. We didn't even get paid for those things. We didn't care. We just wanted to spin music.
So maybe we should take it back. Maybe we should take it back a little bit. If anybody's not familiar with the Z-Rock crew, why don't you guys explain what the Z-Rock crew was about?
Well, hip hop was very early stages, not at the very beginning, but we just wanted to be involved. Hey man, Brad like DJing, I like DJing, we like music. We don't at that point. I don't know what DJ Mad Mixer was doing at that point. Where were you at anyway? But anyway, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to be involved. We need to get together, get some equipment, and have fun with this thing. And we started out with some old realistic equipment, some hand-me-down turntables, and we just started playing music. And whoever we could play, regardless of who getting paid or not, we just played.
Some people even used to call us, if I may jump in, Fresh, Brad and Anthony on the Magic turntables.
Yeah, because we didn't really have a DJ name.
We didn't have a name yet.
At that point. And not until we got close, a year or two down the line, we just decided to go with them.
I've been El Bravador since '81 with the Junior Funk Machine, and Fresh didn't have his name yet. But we as a group didn't have our names. When we rocked Infinity, that's when Fresh came up with the name after we got into Infinity. We had already DJ'd a couple other places, but once we got in Infinity and did that, that's when Fresh was like, we need to come up with a name. And he came up with Z-Rock Crew.
Rick Moore is checking in saying what's up to DJ MC Fresh and everybody. And CC Bird says it's hanging out at WKIE with Sir RJ. Those were the good old days. And y'all were
Shin Fresh. Shin Shin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to hang with us a lot when we used to. She's actually related to me in some way, in a way. She used to come with us to the recording studio. She used to come with us at KIE. She used to hang out with us. She was like one of our biggest cheerleaders. You know, she really was. She really used to spread the word for us. And that was a big thing for the Z-Rock crew, being on radio and everything. We always used to tell people, we used to say it on the air, was spread the word. And let me tell you something, word of mouth does work, especially back then, because, I mean, it really helped us in so many ways. Even with Junior Funk Machine, when we would do a party at the West End Community Center, I mean, people just knew when we were at the West End Community Center, they came. If we were at a backyard party somewhere, they came. You know, that was when it was safe those days. That's when it was safe.
I think y'all
WKI.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Say that again.
No, I was going to say at WKIE, was that the station on Wilkinson Road?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I grew up. Well, I shouldn't say I grew up. I lived really close to there. I used to pass that station all the time, you know, in the early 2000s. And I was always wondering, like, what is that station? I never knew that was the hip hop station back then.
That is an iconic location because everyone from NWA, Public Enemy, Roxanne Shante, Big Daddy Kane, everyone set foot on that property and came into that station. It is an iconic location. I would like to get a plaque put there one day to just put there to say this location, this building is where WKIE, the first hip hop radio station, all hip hop radio station in Central Virginia was. As a matter of fact, if you look in the back of the building, the transmitter houses are still back there. They tore the towers down, but the transmitter houses are still standing today.
We're gonna bring Mike back on one more time and let him talk.
Okay, sure.
Mike, go ahead. Can you hear us?
Mike Street, you hear us?
Mike, you there?
Maybe
Looks
not.
like he's muted.
Yeah, he is muted.
I can't unmute him.
No, he's got to do it on his side.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Hey, Mike, unmute your mic. Your mic. Talk. He's still.
We might have to reschedule Mike for a separate. Date.
No, trust me, Mike will figure it out. He's gonna figure it out. Your mic is not on.
I think it's on now. He's on now.
Mike, can you hear us? I'm just wondering if he's working on it. He's working on it. He's working on it. He's working on it. I think he went back out. Yeah, because he's frozen now. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here he goes. We can hear you.
Some of the most influential it is that I do. Bad.
Uh-oh.
I would be doing what I'm doing. But also being roles and others.
You know, by him being out at the jazz festival with everybody out there that has phones, it's probably the network is being boggled down out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he moved away from the stage and everything so he could, hear us better, so we didn't hear the concert going on, but I think it might have gotten him away from the towers too. Can we go back to talking about the experience of premiering Scratch on WKIE and like how that show's success kind of impacted the station's format?
Fresh, if you want, I can take it a little bit if you want me to.
No, you go ahead.
Well, Scratch was a show that was on KIE before we got there. Keep in mind, Sir RJ was already there before we got there. He was there like a year or so before we got there. And we won a contest on Scratch. We won a mix contest. And after that, my brother was at WKIE. Chip was there. And I met Larry Jones. And he said, "You a DJ too?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm thinking about doing something young here." I said, "Well, I have a partner named DJ MC Fresh." He said, "DJ MC Fresh, I like it." I said, "We're called the Z-Rock Crew." And his eyes got big like sausages. And he was like, "The Z-Rock Crew." And he had a cigar in his mouth, a cigarette in his mouth. He said, "I like it. I like it." And then Chip was like, "No, man, he don't want no more to do with radio." Because I was on radio before and it put a bad taste in my mouth. And I said, "I won't go do it again." I said, "Hold on, Chip. Hold on. Let's hear what Larry got to say." So then Larry had a meeting with us and we did the Scratch show on Saturday. We premiered January 7th, 1987. And the show was a big hit. I mean, it was a hit already, but then once we got there and started mixing, because the guy that was there before, Mr. T, he wasn't really, DJ Mr. T wasn't a mixer. But we started mixing and we started putting it on it. It just blew up. The phones would ring before we came on the air at 1 o'clock till when we left the station, the phones would ring all night. We weren't even on the air. And that was the impact. And Larry saw how that transpired. And he was like, "You know what? We need to do rap and hip hop and go-go. We need to do it all day." Because we were a daytime only station. He changed in March and he flipped the station to all hip hop, go-go, R&B, 20 all during the day. It never stopped. And it just blew the station up. If that station was an FM station, I think today it would still have a legacy the bigger legacy than what it has, and it's been off the air for years, it would have a way much bigger legacy. Something like what WBLS's legacy is in New York. Same thing. It would have been phenomenal. And that was the ultimate goal, but it just didn't. It didn't happen until years later, because years later they got Kiss, and then J100 became an all rap station. It was FM, and that was like the WKIE rap station. It kind of morphed into the J100.
Mike says he can hear us now. I'm gonna bring it back on. We'll try one more time, and if this doesn't work, we'll just reschedule an interview with just Mike Street.
Come on, Mike.
Mike, you said you can hear us now.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh man, we
got you.
Goddamn Mike Street.
Well, I'm gonna stand right here and not move. I'm at the jazz festival, but Mordecai was like, "You got to be on the stream." I was like, "I'm gonna be on the stream," because I look good being around legends. So
we look good around you, man. Come on now.
Stop
we
it,
look
man.
good around you, man.
But Mordecai wanted me to ask a question that most people won't ask. So the question for you, because a lot of people don't know, one of the most simple drum tracks in all of hip hop was done by the Audio 2. Tell everybody about that drum track, and what you have in your possession is related to that drum track.
Okay, I think you're talking about Top Billin'. Top Billin' was done on a 4-track. I actually signed with the Audio 2 with First Priority in '88. Now, let me tell you a little backstory with that. Fresh bought the record Top Billin' from Uncle Artie at the phono booth. And Fresh played it. Learning from Fresh, I read the label. And it said First Priority Music, phone number 718, I can't remember the rest. 426 St. John's Place, Brooklyn, New York. I called that number, and I told him we were playing their record. I said, my man, the DJ MC Fresh, my partner, he bought the record. They said, we're going to start sending y'all music. We broke Cram to Understand You from MC Light. But I signed with them. It was supposed to have been both of us signing, but Fresh didn't want to sign because he had a project going on with an MC by the name of MC Love, who is his wife now, and been his wife for years. And I said, well, I tell you what, I'll do the First Priority side. You do the side with Charlotte, so that way you'll have your production agreement with that record company. I have mine with First Priority. So we agreed, and we continued on. But Top Billin' was done on a 4-track with a Digitech sampler triggered by a Roland 707 drum machine. And I saw that, Fresh saw that, and I think, no, I'd already had a 4-track. I went and bought a 4-track, and we were using a 4-track to do stuff. And that's how we did our demos and everything, and some other things we did as well. But I think that's what Mike was talking about as far as being signed with them, and I did stuff with the Alliance. I did a remix of Hickey's Round My Neck from the Audio 2. I did that. I did that on that's the album I did with the Alliance and stuff. Yeah. That's a rare album, man. I'm gonna tell you. And it's still in plastic, or did you open it?
Oh yeah, it's got the shrink. Yeah. And the hype sticker.
It's got the don't open it, man. Do you know how much that record is now? That album right there is worth so much money because they did not print a lot of those. They only print, I think they only printed maybe 300,000 of those. I think that's all they printed, if that. I actually, and then I'm gonna want Fresh to talk. I actually remastered that album. And again, has cassette decks. They play such an important part even today. When people put stuff on CD, a lot of them, what they do is they put it from the record to the CD. But you hear characteristics of, we used to call it bacon and eggs. You hear the pops and the clicks and all that. Well, if you take a cassette and play it, match the speed up on a 1200, mix it to make sure it's the right speed, master it that way, you take the tape hiss of the tape out, and then you remaster it that way. It works perfectly. I've got the only remastered version I think that exists in the world of the Alliance album. I have it. No, I cannot sell it because I'm not trying to get sued. I don't want Milk to sue me. But I told Mr. Nat Robinson, I told Milk, and I told KC, King of Chill, that I have a copy of it. And I think I shared it with, did I share it with Nat? I shared it with somebody. I think I shared it with KC. But I did remaster that album to where it sounds just as good as any CD pressing that you could buy from anything else. But yeah, that's the connection with First Priority for us. That's the connection.
Yeah, you had an interview with Nat and Milk D that I watched. I got about halfway through. It's a long one. It was really good. And also, I wanted to shout out Low Rock and Spiked Punch. That was really helpful too. And B Rice had talked to you guys and Jay Quan. So appreciate all the information dropped in those. Sean Butta's Nicole just checked in and she said Mike Street was the first DJ to play her song on the radio. And she also shouts out El Bravador. CC Bird said that y'all set the tone for Power 92 and 106.5 The Beat, in her opinion. So since we were starting to kind of get into the discography, I'll go ahead and get into that if that's all right. Or Sam, did you have another question before we move on?
No, I just was interested in the First Priority story. Just seeing his credits, on the record and also on the Audio 2 record. I mean, honestly, I knew about El Bravador as far as being a Richmond kind of mainstay as far as hip hop, but for some reason I never put two and two together and realized he had credits on there.
Yeah, I that and Fresh L record that we did, the Z-Rock Crew record, that's all Fresh. And I want to touch on that because that record was very monumental in Richmond because the record was released right after we got on radio, and we would play it every now and then. We wouldn't wear it out because we didn't want anybody to think we were doing any favoritism on our own. But when we would play the record, I mean, people bought that record. It was a 45. And I mean, of course, 45s now are just worth so much. As a matter of fact, it was Fresh and it was Hottest, Dwayne Calvin, that produced that record and whatnot. I had very little to do with it. You do hear me rhyming in it, thanks to Fresh's guidance on that. But I was not the best MC on that. I really wasn't.
I was going to show. Go ahead.
And then Fresh would write rhymes. I mean, some of the stuff that never was released, if you could hear that stuff. I mean, we had a record called Do These. I mean, man, good grief. If we could have released half the stuff that Fresh put together and I put together, man, we really had something. We really did have something.
I want to show the 7-inch label in just a second, but I wanted to talk about this picture real quick. This is El Bravador on the right and DJ MC Fresh on the left, correct? And where are y'all in this photo?
That's the Think Tank Studios in Hopewell.
That's the studio.
On Pelham Street.
Okay.
That house still stands today, and that's the record right there.
So this is Z-Rock, vocals on the front and instrumental on the back on Think Tank. And how did y'all connect with Think Tank?
Randy Lewis, right, Fresh?
I believe so, yeah.
Randy Lewis, Terry Lewis. They used to be on Magic 99, Terry Duran Lewis. He would get us. He got that stuff played on Magic 99. The Beat Is Bad. He got that played on Magic 99 from Stan Brooks. So we got to thank both of them because they really, before we got on radio, this was 85. Before we got on radio, they really,
He was kind of like our first manager.
He was. Yeah. Terry Lewis was our first manager. He did a lot for us, getting us known. We got a gig at Fort Lee, being with the Calvins and everything, and Think Tank Records. We, oh man, it was an 8-track studio. It was a great place. It really was. We go down there and we felt at home, man. We really did. And got to thank, Terry Lewis and especially Stan Brooks for playing that song because it was on a cassette. And people requested that song. And I wish he could have been on a pressing of it. I really wish he could have been.
Not this song, the beat is bad.
Yes, the beat is bad. Yeah.
They were playing that off a tape, is what you were saying.
Yeah, they're playing. Yeah, they were playing the beat is bad off a tape. This record, when we put that out, we were playing that. And and there's something fresh. I believe one night they did play it on Magic 99. Because it was getting requested so much, they had to play it. I think they played it one time, and that was it.
What is Ace and Supreme? That's the B-side.
That's a record that Fresh wrote. He and I.
Go ahead.
Now you go ahead on this one. You go ahead.
It was just based on earlier DJ names, Mix Master Supreme, ELBRAVADOR. And I don't know what the Ace came from, but it was something like maybe it was like a DJ Ace or something. It was.
I think you were MC.
Like early DJ
MC Ace. No, you were DJ MC Fresh, the MC Ace.
I don't know what it was. It was
something like that. Something to that effect. It was something to that effect.
The line is Ace and Supreme, smooth as butter and cream, I think, right?
Yeah, because
that just gets stuck in my head.
Yeah, Ace and Supreme, smooth as butter and cream. Oh, I can't remember the rest of it. I can't believe I can't remember. But and then we talked about New York strip steaks, porterhouse T-bone. We used to like to eat. I used to love eating steaks.
Come on, that was 30-some years ago. You should remember this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Fresh. You're right. But this Hofheimers I get sometime, I tell you, not Alzheimer's, Hofheimers. It sometimes get you, boy, Sometimes it get you. A guy, real quick, funny story real quick about that. I was at work, of course, later I had to go to work, get a job like everybody else. And I was working with a guy, and he was talking to one of his friends. We were driving in the work truck. And the guy was like, I can't remember, man. I can't remember. I got so old. He said, man, I tell you, this Hofheimers is getting me. And, of course, everybody knows Hofheimers used to be a shoe store. Mm-hmm. Not Alzheimer's, but the guy thought it was called Hofheimers. And we just looked at each other and didn't laugh. We pulled off and we just had the biggest laugh from it. So I just thought that was kind of
Or Tallheimers. We had Tallheimers, too.
We had Tallheimers. We had Hofheimers was the shoe store. Was Hofheimers. I don't even know if they even the same people, but the guy said, man, I tell you, man, sometimes this Hofheimers get me. And we looked at each other. I mean, it was the funniest thing, man. It was just funny.
But no, I only remember them because I attempted to strip this and make some stems out of it recently. So that's how I try to make acapellas and mix it with some other stuff.
So Ace and Supreme is you guys. It's not a different group or something.
No, it's us. No. Okay. No, that's us. That's
okay.
Us.
One of the original hip hop alter egos.
And then
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
This is just a year later, right? 1987. We go to 1988.
Yeah, that was the next year. Yeah, that was the next year.
Yeah. Excellent album cover.
Oh yeah. Actually, we can get used to this. That version is the second version. The first version sounds more of a Miami bass type beat I did, but KC went in and did some stuff to it and changed it. That's how I got co-production on it, because he and I both, he changed up the drums. He slowed it down a little bit. See, one thing about Richmond hip hop back then, Richmond hip hop grabbed for so many of the different areas. We grabbed from New York too, but we also grabbed from Miami. And see, a lot of people don't give Miami credit back in the days for hip hop, especially in the golden era. The Two Live Crew, MC KJ and DJ Cooley C, the Gucci Crew and Quet, all of those groups, and I'm sure I'm missing some people too. Gigolo Tony and all of those people down in Miami. Miami, yeah, Shadi, MC Shadi. Those Miami bass songs, it influenced us a lot here in Central Virginia. A lot of it did, and even New York it did, because that's when Run DMC started using the 808 kicks and and My Adidas and things of that nature. So Miami was very influential in Central Virginia. At least it was for us.
Showboys.
The Showboys. And stuff. I mean, different people. But mostly Miami played a big part in the sound of hip hop in Central Virginia back then.
Maybe Mad Mixer can add on with the family connection. Did you have any?
Oh yeah,
from Miami.
Yeah,
days or...
yeah. Well, Yeah, the Miami sound was totally different from, like Brad said, from New York and Virginia and stuff like that. I would go out there to Miami when Luke threw those crazy parties and whatnot, and hung out with my cousin and all. And he was like, you need to take this back with you, But it was one of those things where that. Um, some people adapt to it, El Bravador, Fresh, and a lot of us, we could adapt to almost, any type of music and, blend it with this or with that sound, because when you're talking about, the East Coast, West Coast, and stuff like that, everybody had their own, unique sound. Mm-hmm. So I guess with the Miami sound, especially with Two Live Crew, everybody was looking at their lyrics. They're too provocative and things of that nature. Yeah, same thing with NWA and stuff like that. But they were more focused on what they were saying instead of actually listening to the style of the music. And that's what we were more after was, like Brad said, with the 808 and, those reference points.
And let me add to this too. I said Miami's 808 sound and bass of the 808 drum sound, but see Mantronics also. I can't forget Mantronics. Mantronics was very, very influential to us and everything because they came with Fresh is the Word. I mean that 808, that ain't nothing but a serious straight 808 drum track. Production.
Right.
Fresh is the Word was tough, and then like I said, and then the Two Live Crew had Beatbox. That we used to play that at Infinity, I remember, and it was, I mean, when we put that on, people looked like, "What the hell is that?" And I mean, and the funny thing about that is that Beatbox was recorded with the Two Live Crew in L.A. That was recorded in L.A., not Miami, but the rest of that stuff was all Miami and stuff. And then you had Dr. Dre and the World Class Wrecking Crew. You had Surgery. You had. All of that. But really, for us, it was Mantronic, Miami bass, and then I'll go ahead and throw in a little bit of the Wrecking Crew, a little bit of them. What do you think, Fresh? You think so?
No, you got to throw one more guy in there that was
Egyptian Lover.
Egyptian Lover.
Egyptian Lover. How can I forget?
You were saying earlier today you had to play that over and over.
Oh my gosh! At
Infinity,
Fresh reminded me on the documentary. At Infinity, if we took that record off, we might as well put it to the side because somebody's gonna want us to put it back on, and we had to just mix it for 20 minutes straight. That's when people wanted records to breathe. They wanted to hear the whole song. And it's not like now you play, maybe to the second, you play the first verse and then you got to snatch it off, and stuff. I mean, it's not like that. That's why I like with the gigs that we do, we kind of play music like we used to. We let the records breathe some and whatnot. I mean, it's nothing against the DJs that don't, but that's fine. But we kind of go back to the way we used to play records and whatnot at gigs and whatnot. And people appreciate that. But yeah, Egyptian Lover. Woo, that record. Oh my gosh, man!
We talking Egypt, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my gracious, that song. Woo.
But the one thing that I want to chime in on is at our gigs that we do, you have 5-6 DJs, so the crowd actually has a variety of all of the 80s, early 90s style, which makes it great. So it's not like, everybody has the same style and nobody, gets a whiff of anything else. So, with, 5 and 6 of us, we can bring back all the memories of what you heard back in the days.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No doubt.
Going back to the Alliance, when you got that Down to Earth production credit, like how proud were you of that moment, El Bravador?
Well, the Down to Earth, wow, that actually was That song became a disaster at one point.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, what happened was we was done on a DX drum machine that Fresh and I had, and I took the drum machine with me to New York. Somehow I don't know what happened, but when I got it off the plane and I loaded it in the studio, the sequences were jumping off for some reason. It was coming out of sync for whatever reason. I don't know what happened, but we synced it. We didn't use any sounds out of the DX. We just MIDI'd it to the S900 sampler and an Elise's drum machine. Those were where the sounds came out. The DX was more of the sequencer, if you follow what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But KC saved it. We laid the track down. The track was coming off. It was, you talking about a gut wrenching feeling in your stomach. But Casey was like, Brad, don't worry about it. I got it. I know what to do. And what you hear now is the saved product. After I heard the saved product, I felt a whole lot better. Down to Earth, that right there was just, and to have Positive K write the lyrics on it, I'm very proud of that one. I'm very, very proud of that one. I think that if the Alliance album was promoted a little harder than what it was, it could have really, really been a bigger, back then, it could have been a bigger album than what it was. Actually, now it's bigger than ever that it was back then, because people they're seeking out that album and they can't find it. It's a rare album. Mm-hmm. And if you do have it, you hold on to it, because I think I saw somewhere the album was $400. And another thing is the Z-Rock Crew record, that's $300 over in Germany. Our record got over in Germany, and I think the reason that it did, and I think Fresh and I talked about this, Mr. Calvin, who's the owner of Think Tank Records, he worked for the government, and he'd always have to go to Germany for work. We think he took a box of those with him to Germany. That's how they got over there. You know, not just us, the Two Def Crew, they were on Think Tank, Jaquan's group. If you look online and try to find them, they're high, man. Those records are high. Matter of fact, I'm looking at one of Jaquan's in their records right now. I got it over in my rack of Slow and Mellow and Jay. I got it. Yeah, it's right over there. I found a couple of them when my mother passed away 3 years ago, and my old room I still had stuff in my old closet. And when I was cleaning her house out, I found like two or three. I found two.
Nice.
And they had never been played. And I got them right in here. And I'm glad I found those. And I thought I was going to run across one of ours, but I know Fresh and I we gave them out to so many people. And then so many people bought them because Artie had them at the phono booth. And I think he sold out of them when they were selling them. So, yeah, I mean, as far as going with the Alliance, yeah, we Down to Earth was pretty. That's a pretty good piece that I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm.
I still got that DX drum machine.
Yeah, he still has it. He still has it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, now that one I'm proud of too, right there. That one, that MC Peaches. Oh my gosh.
To talk about it, and I was glad you brought it up with Nat and Milk Tea about the labels and the design for the logo. Like, I love that Bum Rush logo. And then they were saying like each artist had like their own color and stuff.
Yes.
So where was Peaches from? Was she from New York City or?
She was from Jersey. She was from Newark, New Jersey, or was it East Orange? At the time, she was in East Orange, but she's from Newark, New Jersey. That's where she's originally from. I talk to Peaches all the time. She's my sister. You know, she's like the great sister I never had, and not throwing any shade, but she is. You know, and see, I knew Fresh was going to do that. Fresh knows what I'm talking about and stuff.
I can't keep a straight face.
I know. But yeah, at least we can laugh about. At least I can laugh about it, Fresh. You know. But Peaches is my sister. She and I actually did her whole album. But it came out. The album that came out for her on Virgin Bum Rush, that was not my productions. That was a whole different album, and I unfortunately, I don't even have the masters to that. So that album was lost. Unfortunately, that was lost.
You got ahead of my next question then.
What was the story with the Bum Rush label though? Where was that? Where are they based out of?
Bum Rush was a second label of First Priority. It was our second label. You had the Kings of Swing. You had Lazy Lays, who went on to do stuff with MOP. Mm-hmm. He was he had a red label with white writing, and Lays doesn't talk too much about that, and I understand. But he had his record on there. His first record came out with that. Like I said, Kings of Swing, Peaches. There was some other groups called the UBs. The UB. They were called the UB then. Something happened. They left the label. That record never was released. And then they became the UBC on EMI. So they came out on EMI. So that was something that happened that I wasn't. I heard some of the things about it, but I'm not clear on what really happened. But they think they were bitter and they left. Something wasn't done right.
Yeah, Kings of Swing ended up being around for quite a while too. I think they were making records up to like maybe 2000 or so.
If they were, it wasn't on any Bum Rush label, and if it was, that got by me.
Not on that label. I've got one called Something for the Blunted by Kings of Swing, and it's like 96 or something.
Wow, you told me something I never knew. I never seen that. Yeah. Sugar K and I forgot the other brother's name. I haven't talked to them since those days. I seen a picture of Sugar K. He came to one of the shows I think Light did, or it was something that happened. I missed it. It was up in New York, and he took a picture with Peaches and everything. And I saw him. He still looks the same. I haven't talked to him since those days.
Speaking of Light, did you ever interact with Light?
All the time. All the time.
That's pretty incredible.
When I went to first sign my contract, Fresh went with me and a friend of ours named Andre. We all drove my Mustang up there and we got lost. It's an interesting story about that because we got lost. We went into Brooklyn, but they were on Staten Island. So we get to Staten Island. We walk in the door. We meet everybody. This little girl comes up, MC Light. She comes and gives me a hug. She was 15 years old because we broke her record, Cram to Understand You. We were the first ones to break her record.
I didn't know she was that young.
Oh, 15. She was 15 years old.
Wow.
And she, all of us went to Paterson, New Jersey. We went to East Side High. Lean on Me. Joe Clark. We met Joe Clark, Evelyn Champagne King, Mike from Good Times, Ralph Carter. I said Evelyn Champagne King, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chris Rock. Remember that, Fresh? Chris Rock. Yeah. We met. He was there when he first started. Yep. Chris Rock was there. And the Audio 2 was mad at Chris because Chris did a joke about them. And they heard it and they didn't like it. And they approached Chris about it. And Chris was like, no, I love y'all, blah, blah, blah. And this was just, it's comedy, But his mother was there with him and everything. And we met Joe Clark there. And then after that, we went to a hotel because it was raining. I never forget it was raining. And the next morning we signed the contract. And then we came on back home.
That's funny. 40 years later, people are still mad at Chris Rock for his jokes, even though he may be.
There was another guy on Bum Rush called Boss Shaw.
Boss Shaw. Matter of fact, I got his. I'm looking at his album right now. It's right there in my rack. He actually passed away a couple years back, and he doesn't get mentioned from people that were from Richmond. He was not from Richmond, but he went to John Marshall High School and graduated from John Marshall. He died not too long ago. I don't know what happened to him, but I used to talk to him quite a bit in the later years. But yes, Boss Shaw, thank you, Fresh. He did an album. I have his CD and stuff because they did a CD on him. He was on Bun Rush Virgin, and he had a tough album. But,
was that Boss Shaw's Explicit Lyrics or something?
Yep, that's him. Yeah. My man, you are up on your stuff, man. You up on your stuff.
I've been a fan for a minute, so I try. You know how music people are. You pay attention to everything.
That's how they're supposed to be. Yeah, you got some that are not though. Some that want the name and they want the novelty and stuff and the notoriety, but they don't do their homework. But you clearly do your homework. Clearly,
I'm just ahead. I'm just ahead.
Well, there it is. Hey, that's what we need. We wish everybody could be heads. I think it'd be a better place musically for all of us.
True.
But Boss Shaw was awesome. I mean, man, he was awesome. Boy, you talking about a talent. He had it. He definitely had it.
Going back to the Peaches record, I found that a few years back, and I didn't realize there was a Richmond connection at first. I think later on I found out about that. But I really like the production on it. If she's got that unreleased album, I'd love to hear it.
Unfortunately, I don't believe she does. There's a possibility that Milk still has it. Because Milk is head of First Priority now. That's his own. He owns it now. His dad, gave it to him and whatnot. So if anybody has those masters, it would be Milk. We also had a group from here that was on First Priority also, but they never did a pressing on them. They were called the Royal Sound Crew. They're very legendary here in Central Virginia. We recorded an album on them. As a matter of fact, Fresh and I recorded some stuff to be back on First Priority as the Z-Rock Crew, but that never went forward. So a lot of those masters, I would love to get my hands on them.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've said it in other interviews. As far as the unreleased stuff or things that got shelved or scrapped, like there's a market. We're still interested in hearing all that stuff because it came from that era that we love. So. We'd love to hear it. We just like putting that out in the universe, whether it, comes to fruition or not.
I would like to talk to Milk about that. And maybe I will at some point talk to him when things kind of settle down. I know he's dealing with some things right now and stuff like that. But I'll try to talk to him and bring that conversation up to him because I'd like to get those masters and bake them. And then try to transfer them to digital and whatnot so we can at least have them so that, we can have them to manipulate them and kind of just, touch them up. But because with the technology now, you can record something in as little as 4 tracks or 2 tracks, and you can really make them sound like, multi-million-dollar productions and stuff.
I want to hear The Beat Is Bad. And I know I had vocals on the front and Ace and Supreme, I think. At least digitally. I don't know that I ever had a 7-inch, but I've always kind of been on the lookout.
Fresh, did I give you The Beat Is Bad that I got from Chris?
Oh, you like a digital copy, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. I just want to hear it.
Yeah, we can get that. I'm sure we can get that to you, man.
And then I really enjoyed your talks with Nat and it was Terry Moore.
Terry Moore, yeah. Terry used to do. Yeah, he used to do the promotions for us, and really cool guy. He's down in Atlanta now.
That was funny.
And whatnot. He's done quite publicity.
A bit. Nat said, "You're a publicist." And he's like, "I don't know what that is," and like argued for a half hour about how he doesn't know what that is. And he's like, "All right, now spend the next half hour figuring out how to do that."
Yeah.
I think was this the one that you said you were listed as co-production, but you actually did the whole production, or was that Down to Earth?
No, Down to Earth, I did the whole production. This version of We Can Get Used to This is correct. That's co-production.
Okay.
I didn't. The one that I did was a Miami bass style type one with the 808 sound and everything in it, and with the sample in it that I used the James Brown. But no, this one right here is a co-production. Yes.
And another thing, Milk said he did the first First Priority logo with the stencil. And then they hired pros to do this and the Bum Rush logo. But I definitely love like all those logos and like was looking for like shirts or hoodies or something on their site, but they were sold out of everything. Were y'all playing? Obviously, a lot of these tracks, were you playing them over and over as opposed to maybe Z-Rock Crew where you're like, okay, well that's us. Like I don't know how much we can play it without showing favoritism, but this is Alliance. Like even though,
Well, the requests were coming in for Bustin' Loose. I mean, man, gosh, when we played Bustin' Loose, we actually played it on a test pressing first. We had a test pressing of it that we got from them. They sent it in the mail. and they said, this is a new group we got called the Alliance, and it's Bustin' Loose. It was Bustin' Loose on there, and it was a Do It, Do It. They couldn't release Do It, Do It because of sample thing. There you go. And there was another one,
Oreo Cookie.
And they didn't release Oreo Cookie for whatever reason. I liked Oreo Cookie. They said it was a little too explicit.
So, well, answer your question. Well, we played it almost every time we came on, but we didn't play it like 2 or 3 times a show or nothing like that.
Right.
But yeah, we would play it, at least once every show.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was the Hickeys Around My Neck, El Bravador mix.
Yes, that is another one that's close to me right there. That's my total production as far as the remix. That got played on WBLS quite a bit. Chili Q and Mr. Magic used to play it. And I mean, to hear your stuff on New York radio is just, that's a feeling, man. Good God.
Who was it that asked, hey, why do y'all call that ish the El Bravador mix? But they didn't know who you were.
Chili Q said that. Chili Q said, who the hell is, what is that shit?
He said, why do y'all call it that?
Yeah, he said, why do you call it? They said, because that's El Bravador. He said, who's El Bravador? He said, he's from Virginia, part of the Z-Rock crew. Yeah. That was Chili Q that did that. That was with Mr. Magic and Marley Marl at that time and stuff. But that song right there was done on an 8-track. What I did was Milk tried to make me lay a metronome. I told him I didn't need a metronome. So the first part of it is with an SP12, is that you just hear me going, you're zipping the record back and forth. I sampled that on the SP12, and I kept it going. And then after that, I said, Milk, I don't need a metronome. I stopped the metronome, and I started the record because I could keep time, because that's something Fresh taught me about mixing records in beats per minute and keeping time and keeping the beat. I could keep a beat in my head. So they weren't used to that. As a matter of fact, I taught Milk how to splice edit. We learned how to splice edit when we were at the radio station, because we'd have to splice edit for commercials and different things like that. So we knew how to splice edit tape. Milk, I taught him how to splice edit tape. And that's why when I did the Hickeys, it went straight from, I recorded it. I put everything down on an 8-track. Then we put it to a 2-track, and then I actually went in there in one space, and I took it and I zipped it around. It's something similar to what the Latin Rascals were doing back then. When they were doing edits and stuff, they did use some samples, but a lot of it they were doing where they were using splice edits with tape. They were doing their master mixes and stuff. I mean, they would, oh my gosh. The Latin Rascals, Animal, those 98.7 Kiss master mix guys, they were like some of the best.
Somebody else we were talking to recently was talking about the Latin Rascals in tape splice and everything. Was that Phil Most Chill? I'm trying to remember Mordecai.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, I can't. But yeah.
Dr. Data Man Zen, he had a question about the top billing beat. Like, who did that beat and who thought about that drum pattern? If I remember correctly, it was like a mistake, right? Like things got kind of shifted or off, and then they played it back and they were like, that's dope. Like,
okay,
is that true or
okay?
Kind of, sort of.
There you go. Thank you, Fresh. Thank you. Kind of, sort of.
I wasn't there. I'm just saying what
I was not there either. I wasn't there. That was before. That was before us. But
only found out after the fact, also. But go ahead.
Yeah, and lately I've been seeing a lot of stuff come up that said Milk did it. Then they said Daddy-O did it. Then they said no, Milk did it. I even heard somewhere that somebody was trying to say that King's son had a little bit to do with it. I don't know. I wasn't there. From what Milk tells me, Milk did the beat. Daddy-O had something to do with it.
Well, it was Daddy-O's. It was somebody's pattern.
Pattern, that's it. Yeah.
Somebody else drum sounds.
Yeah.
I don't know which was which. Whose sounds or whose pattern.
It's confusing to me, Mordecai.
They used to save the sounds on floppy disk.
Right. Yes.
They used to transfer sounds between sampling machines, SP12s or whatever, with the floppy disk.
Right.
So when they plugged in the sounds on the floppy disk to the drum machine, It played the sounds to somebody else's pattern. Top Billing came out. So I don't know who, I can't remember whose beat and whose sounds was which one, but that's what happened.
That's fair. Maybe we can one day talk to Milk D and try and get
That's
to
the
the bottom of
short.
it.
That's
Yeah.
short story.
That's the short version. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the short version.
And then this one is you're listed as co-production on the Nasty, right?
Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna say about that one is that that is my production.
That's the one I was thinking of earlier.
That's the one that's my production, but I got Cole on it. Milk did a lot of extra stuff to it and whatnot, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. And stuff. But that actually was created at my mom's house in the West End, the one that I sold when she passed. It was done there. I sent it to the floppy disks. No, I didn't send the fly. I took the disc with me. I went up to record it. I recorded it in Milk Studio. And what you hear on the album is what it had transpired to. It's a little different, but it's still the basic production. The basic idea was the production was my idea. The name of the song came from Big Vaughn. He named the song. He heard the demo track and he liked it, and he came up with the what you wanna do, what you wanna do, the Nasty. And then he said, yeah, that's what we're going to call it, the Nasty. So Vaughn actually named it that and stuff. And Milk did his magic to it. And somehow it just landed on co-production for me, which, that's really mine and stuff. I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset about it. And when I saw it, I didn't really get upset about it, but it's just, It I don't know how I got printed like that. I'll just leave it at that. But it's all good though. I mean, Great Day, what is it, 30 something years later? Come on.
But people want to be credited, for their work.
Yeah, you do. And I'm a big component of that, and stuff. But it just, it turned out that way. That's just how it turned out.
I was wondering if that left, kind of a bad taste in your mouth, and if relationships kind of soured or
no,
what happened?
No.
Like, what happened with, because First Priority kind of continued on, or no, or like, because that was kind of the end as far as what I saw as far as credited production.
Right. That was the last thing I did with them. Light was blowing up so good. And KC was the one that really, it was Light's producer, King of Chill. So during that time, I was working with Peaches. I was working on Peaches all the way up until 91. I was working on Peaches. Then I started working with the Royal Sound crew, trying to get their things out. I was trying to do something on Lou Cash as well. I was shopping him the Wild Pitch and some other places that didn't pan out. So, but as far as First Priority, Peaches was the last thing on First Priority I was trying to do, and I think more of what happened with Peaches was more of the disappointment. That was more of the disappointment at that point, because everything I did on Peaches, nothing made the album. So but then I had to get real too and say, look, that's the music business. It's nothing personal. It's just, that's what happens. So I tried to tell myself that and made myself feel better. But, then I started working a regular job and everything, and things started to kind of slow down as far as production is concerned. Like I said, I was doing stuff with the Royal Sound crew. That was like my last ditch thing as far as productions and stuff. And then we had the TV show. Chris Brooks and I came up with the B-side, and then we started doing the TV show, and just tried to rock it from there, man. And that was
so
pretty much it.
So what was the TV show? What was the deal with the TV show?
The B-side.
The B-side was
It's called the B-side. Is it the show on Comcast that we were talking about?
Yes, it was a hip hop activist show. We were spotlighting black businesses. We were spotlighting organizations, and I mean, we were just doing a whole lot, trying to uplift the community and trying to rebuild the community that had been just torn down for so many years by so much. And we were just trying to do our part through hip hop music and try to get it, do that, and plus play music videos and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, that was Mad Skill's first TV performance was done on that show. As a matter of fact, in the documentary I did, it's actually, the footage is on there and whatnot. And that was the very first TV performance that he did as far as his rhyming things. See, he used to be a dancer for Positive Sound, which was Choco Love. What was Leroy's name? Man, I forgot his name. And then you had DJ White Knight. So he used to be one of their dancers.
Sorry,
but Fresh,
Skills? You said Skills used to
but
be
Fresh
one of the dancers?
had more of a connection with him than I did, because I don't remember, but Fresh said he used to come over to the house all the time, and Fresh used to work with him on the turntables and stuff. And that's because where he was living in Wickham Court, the house that we used to do everything in where Fresh lived was around the corner on Glen Lee.
No,
Fresh is shaking his head.
Oh, you just run into him in the neighborhood?
Yeah, like going to KIE every day. He actually, KFC, I believe, or one of them, just on the way to KIE, I stopped by. He used to work, and he's always talk to me about music. I used to give him music, give him CDs, cassettes, and he was always asking me questions about this person, that person in the group, that group, and how music was and all that. This was 87. But no, yeah, that was my very, very first run-ins with Skills. So and then later on, huh?
No, you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, and then him and Mike Street were friends from way back. And then when us and Mike Street kind of got close, I used to run into him at Street's house all the time when he was making his demo tapes for those new music seminar battles. And so that was my early reactions to him, interaction with Skills.
I was just gonna kind of segue into that, talking about the documentary. Where can people see the documentary? How can they access it? And maybe just give a little explanation about what you put together.
I was going to say they screened it at the Black History Museum, right? And
yes, they screened it at the Black.
Yes, and I wanted to get a digital copy, and I know you talked about wanting to, kind of get everything straight, and maybe, eventually one day it might be out on digital. But I just want to say I want to buy it, and I want to watch it, I want to see it, and same with the B-side too. I'd love to see episodes of that. So,
well,
go ahead. I'll let you talk now, Bravador. Sorry,
I actually have some episodes of the B-side. A lot of the episodes were lost because we didn't record every one. There's some people out there that have recorded it, that have it, but I don't know why we weren't thinking, or I was not thinking that, on archival things, you want to archive these things. And I did not archive any of it.
It's always hindsight is 2020, you don't think things you're doing are.
Oh my gosh. I wish I would have archived it. But anyway, to answer your question, the documentary, sometime this year, it will be available for viewing. I'm going to probably do another showing of it somewhere. And I'll have it for purchase really soon. But it's just a few things I want to revamp on it and what have you, just to make it a little bit, just a little bit more interesting, because there's a few things in there I wanted that I did acquire later that I want to add in there. So it'll be, pretty soon that you'll be able to get it and whatnot. So yeah. But as far as the B-side, I've got a couple of them digitized in here and whatnot. So I could get you a couple of those.
That was the other thing I watched too. Yeah, agreed. I watched the panel discussion. I think that was at the screening. They had videotaped, and that had Mike Street, Lonnie B, Jaquan, and ELBRAVADOR. And I think Fresh was there. Oh, and B Rice was also in attendance. And I remember shouting him out. And I think ELBRAVADOR, earlier today, you were saying I was on WRIR. Actually, Sam is on does a show on WRIR. B. Rice
Okay.
does as well.
I apologize for getting that
No,
twisted up.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I just wanted to mention it because you kept saying WRIR. I'm like, I've done guest sets up there, and I support their mission and everything. But yeah, I've done WDCE and WVCW, which was VCU's radio station. And I know we're kind of running over on time, but can you talk about WQ Mix real quick?
WQ Mix Worldwide Radio is a station I put together almost around 7 years ago. It was 2017 I put it on. I put it on online. I had WQ Mix years ago, like back in 99. But that's when I had a server in my other house that I used to live in, and I used to run it that way. And then when Congress came up and said, you got to pay royalties if you're going to play music like that, that's when I just said, I can't afford that. So I shut it down. So I brought it back in 2017 with the help of Mr. Roger Williams from ABC Broadcasting. He gifted me with a broadcaster. So I tested it for a month, and then my wife's asked me, Sonia said, look, when you going to put the station on? I said, well, soon. She said, what you waiting on? So then I went ahead and got the service for it to provide the stream, and I was up and running in 10 minutes. I mean, I was up and running. It's a station that has 80s dance classics, classic hip hop. Fresh has mixes on there that he's blessed me with so much. And, I play his mixes quite a bit. Mad Mix is supposed to be getting me one. But I mean, it's been over a year and a half. I guess he's paying me back, Fresh, like he used to do. You didn't get you tapes and stuff back in the day. So I'm waiting on his master mix. Yeah.
Well, it's you know how I am with my mixes, and they're
he's very crucial on it. And he if it ain't right to him, he's not going to release it. But you'll be hearing mixes from him as well. And it's a 24 hour, 7-day-a-week station. Matter of fact, you might hear some of it right there. So it's playing all the time, and you can access it from wherever. And that's just my answer to, not being on radio. I went ahead and put my own station together, for that fact. And like I said, if you want to hear Z-Rock Crew stuff, you just listen to that station, you'll hear it. Classic hip hop, some jazz, soul classics, 80s dance classics, rare dance classics, a little bit of house. You hear that too. And, that's what it's all about. And it, like I said, it's a station for all of us. It really is stuff. We're not trying to replace the station that's your favorite, but we're your favorite radio station's favorite radio station, I like to say. And, it's something that's an alternative. So if you listen to your station, something you don't like, turn over to us. You can hear that. It's going to probably be hard for you to turn away, though. But yet and still, we're here. We're here for that. And we're blessed to have it.
I feel like we've barely scratched the surface on a lot of stuff. But one thing I did want to ask, do you happen to have a high-quality version of Positive K, Step Up Front's video? I know you were at the shooting.
I do.
There's
and Fresh was there, too.
There's really low-quality versions online. And even on Positive K's channel, I'm like, how does he not have a good quality version of this? Somebody get a quality version of this guy.
I got one. I got one because I actually, I was talking about at the time we did Step Up Front. I was actually on another video show, and I told them I'm on a video show, and they gave me the 3/4 of it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3/4. I know a couple people that have some 3/4 machines, and I'm going to digitize it down. And that way I'll have it to share and stuff. But yes, I have it. There it is right there. I'm looking at it on the other side of my record rack. It's sitting right over there. It's in good safekeeping. And yes, I'm going to digitize that very soon too. As soon as I can get with a couple of people that I know that have 3/4 machines. Because 3/4 machines are very rare out there right now. And if you have one, if someone has one, it's got to be something where they know how to work on them, because they're not in existence anymore. Just like the beta cams are becoming non-existent, and whatnot. But the 3/4 are really non-existent.
It's a dope track, and it would be nice to see the video in high quality, because like I said, the versions online are like, they look like 5th generation VHS copies or something. So
Fresh, we had a lot of fun up there that day. We stayed up there 2 days shooting videos, and that was shot in Mount Vernon on top of a roof of a club.
There was another video y'all were at too, right?
Yeah, Mini Styles was shot there.
Mini
I'm
Styles.
Not Having It was shot there.
Mhm.
And
Same
Step Up
weekend.
Front. Same weekend.
Wow.
Same weekend.
Wow.
Mount Kilimanjaro, some club.
Kilimanjaro's was the name of the group. I mean, the name of the club. Kilimanjaro's in Mount Vernon. Matter of fact, Heavy D came through and blessed us. Yeah, he came through. So yeah,
Y'all-
we had a
Y'all
lot
make
of fun
any
with
appearances in the videos, or you're just in the back of the set, kind of watching things? I know you talked about kind of asking the director a lot of questions, and that kind of
that was
spawned your
from
interest.
the Light as a Rock video. I was up there for that one. That was the first music video I was in, and I was just like vid kid Lionel Martin, who was part of Video Music Box's crew with Ralph McDaniels and everything. That was Ralph McDaniels' film company, Classic Concepts. And I was just amazed. I always was amazed with filmmaking. Even as a young kid, when I saw Star Wars and stuff, I was always amazed at how they did this stuff. So I would always ask Lionel stuff. I would pick his brain. And I talked him to death. I did. Some people I used to get on their nerves. I really did. And I'm not proud about that, but I gained so much knowledge doing it though.
That's how you learn stuff.
I learned, but I mean, I would irritate the hell out of them. So
that may have been our first trip up there with them, hanging around them. That was real early.
Yeah.
We made a few seconds in one or two of the videos, but
I was trying to watch in the clips. I was like, are they they're just in the
not
behind the
much at
scenes.
all. Not much at all.
Not much. And with the Light as a Rock video, that one, you see me maybe twice in that video, and then of course at the back of the classroom. And man, I just can remember we had been up for a total of 24 hours. That was the last scene shot. And everybody had been up, and you talking about somebody tired. Oh my gracious, man. I just couldn't I almost didn't keep it together. It was you were worn out. That's when you had to do music videos in one day. You started at 6 a.m, and you may not finish till 6 the next morning.
Man, they didn't need to do all those takes, but go ahead.
yeah, that's true. But the thing with Light as a Rocket took so long was because they built every set. We were at a shooting stage. They built every set that you see in that video. We had to wait till every set was built. And that was the great experience for me because I saw how sets were built and stuff. So I mean, man, they built every set. Ooh, that was a long process. They
didn't build them all that day though.
Yes, they did.
Oh.
Yes, they built them that day.
Wow.
That day. When I first got there at 6 a.m, they had already started about 4 a.m. So when I got there, they were doing the caveman part at the beginning of Light as a Rock. They were doing that part. They had made the cave and everything. After they finished that, they tore that set down. And I think the next thing they built was they built the gangster one with the alley. They built that. Shot that one. Tore that down. Then they built they put the blue screen up. I can remember. They put the blue screen up, and there was the Egyptian one they did next. And if you look at one of the pyramids, you'll see my foot. I was behind the pyramid asleep.
ELBRAVADOR foot.
You'll see my foot in it. You can see my foot. So I got clowned about that too. Man, I got clowned about that. So then the last thing, then all of a sudden that evening, all these people just came through the door. All these kids. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Then a couple of rough-looking cats came in. A guy named Moose. These guys were part of the IOU Dancers. Very popular dance crew in hip-hop in that era of hip-hop. The IOU Dancers. So Moose and I got to be very good friends. He loved Batman. Matter of fact, Fresh, if you can remember, you met him. They all came to Mount Vernon for Step Up Front. They came up there for that. Remember? So,
I remember.
Right. So they did that. As a matter of fact, one of the IOU dances is on the back of Kwame's album, the man you all know and love, or the Genius, I think it is. On the back, you'll see one of them that I knew and what have you. But all in all, they did the dance scene. They did that part. That was close to the end. And then at the end was they built the classroom. So that was a very, very good experience, seeing how they did that stuff. I mean, it was just amazing how they just flipped that place around like that. It was just amazing.
Wow.
We're running way over, and I appreciate everybody's time, and maybe we can do a part 2 because there's a bunch, like I said, that we barely scratched the surface on. DJ Mad Mixer, did you have anything you wanted to mention or say before we wrap up?
When I do finish this mix for Brad and everything, it'll be well worth it. It's coming soon. I'm gonna try to have it ready, hopefully by the end of September, but it's just taking up a lot of tracks.
He said the end of September, Fresh. I've been waiting since last September.
Yeah, I know.
September, at the end of September. All right, I'll wait. I'll be patient.
No, I do a track every month. Yeah.
Now, Mordecai, and look, like I was telling y'all, he got all the equipment in the world now. All the equipment in the world. And I got to wait a whole year for a mix.
Yeah, but see, I incorporate, my beat machine and everything else in it. So, me, I like my perfection.
You do.
Yeah, and after a year, you can't just drive a regular mix now. It's like, it's been built up so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Fresh? You got anything you want to add on or mention before we break?
No, I'm just kind of low key these days. No, nothing to add. Hey, thank you guys for doing this. Appreciate it. Mordecai, Sam.
Yeah.
I just started following you guys on Instagram, and I hope to be seeing more from you guys.
Thanks. I was telling ELBRAVADOR, without you guys, I don't know that we'd have hip hop radio shows. That's what I started at. VCU was a hip hop radio show, and that was AM. The signal was terrible, but I think they were streaming, but not very well. And then I had heard that you didn't have to be a student to do it at University of Richmond, so that's when I moved over to there because I was still a VCU student, but U of R had the better radio station and signal, so did that for a long time. And then, thought about doing WRIR, but at that point it was like, well, I'd rather just play what I want when I want. And, nowadays you live stream it from home. That's kind of the way I prefer to do it. But
get your Twitch radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, ELBRAVADOR? Is there any projects? I know you were talking about sort of a revamped version of the documentary.
Yeah, I'm revamping the Hip Hop Legends documentary. I'm doing that. We're doing gigs, and stuff like that. Z-Rock Crew Junior Funk Machine. We're trying to come into Richmond. I think you and I talked about that offline earlier about some of the issues
offline as well. Mm-hmm.
Right. And we need to talk about that because we're getting ready to come into Richmond and come to a couple of places. We're trying to get to Bird Park. We're trying to get to Hotchkiss Field, but Hotchkiss Field is under construction. So we may not
Richmond, like I said, you'll have more support. They seem to be more.
I think so.
Pop, especially with the skills show. I think that kind of proved, the fact that we all kind of knew that you could have a show like that or, incorporate hip hop into community events. So whether Henrico gets on board or not, that's up to them, I think. But
yeah, I'm not going to, and I don't want to get into that, at this point right now, the same thing, as far as me is concerned. But yes, that's why we're coming into Richmond because we hadn't been back in Richmond. We've been in Richmond to a couple of places as far as a club and stuff, but being outside at Bird Park would be great. I'm trying to work on some things that for us. And, that's the biggest thing right now going. I got some other film projects I'm going to be working on soon and whatnot. But right now I'm just concentrating on Z-Rock Crew Junior Funk Machine and getting into Richmond towards the end of the summer, early fall. And hopefully Henrico will jump on board and then we could do another fall one, maybe at Virginia Randolph again.
Yeah, but selfishly, I liked Virginia Randolph because that's right up the road from me. So being able to drive, 10 minutes and go see Cash Money was amazing. So
I didn't know you were there. I was
shooting baskets and my family were just kind of walking around.
I saw you. I I remember it was somebody shooting baskets. I remember. I wish you came and talked to us, man.
I mean, you had 20 speakers, so I don't know how much. I talk pretty quietly. I don't know how much we would have.
Yeah,
and I saw
Cricket, we gotta-
Jaquan shooting video and everything, so I just kind of let everybody kind of do their thing. But
Well, next
I was
time,
happy
man.
that it happened and was happening so close to home.
Next time, man, come on, man. Let us know you're there, man. We'd love to see you, man. And you got to thank Cricket too, because Cricket provides the sound for us and stuff. And he actually bought a lot of stuff for that and stuff. So we got to thank him. We got to thank Jaquan for filming it and putting us on Rock the Bells Radio on their website. That video made it there. So, you know, and then Cash Money coming down. It was just great. We had a nice time. We really did. Even with all the other stuff that happened with the county up there complaining or whatever. But like I said, that's another story, and we'll get it all squared away, I'm sure.
Are you still working with Jaquan on doing a documentary about, I guess, your life, I think it was?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I sent a message for Fresh and everybody that he wants to get everybody down. He'd like to talk to everybody. If you want to be a part of it, he will come and film you. So he's going to start working on that very, very soon and stuff. I had a couple people approach me years ago about it, and I didn't think it was none. I'm like, why? You know, but then someone else said, well, they need to give, you know, do this and stuff. I said, well, it's not just about me. It's about Fresh. It's about Mad Mix. It's about Chris. It's about RJ. It's about Mickey Spencer. It's about Larry Jones. May he continue to rest in peace. It's about so many people that helped us be who we are and helped me be who I am. I wouldn't be me without Fresh or Mad Mixer or Chris Brooks. I wouldn't be who I am today because of that. I mean, I'm like Chip. Whatever that's worth, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the accolades and everything. But I mean, these guys right here on the show with me, if it weren't for them, it wouldn't be no me. And that's for real. That's just the bottom line. So Jay is, I'd say, well, if I'm going to get somebody to do it, I want Jay to do it because Jay knows me and stuff. I mean, you got other people that could do your stuff, but if they don't know you, I mean, they're going to miss something. And with Jay, I'm sure I can tell him stuff and he'll put it in the right context.
Yeah, we're big fans of him. We interviewed him and talked about, you know, their record on Think Tank and even had him come back on, I think, maybe, I don't know, was he on the Filmos Chill show? I know he was on the Joe Ron Bombay interview, but I felt like with this one, I'm like, I can't be asking him every weekend to hop on, but I was glad we were able to get Mike Street on, even though we had
I'm glad Mike came on. Mike's that dude. You know, Mike, I hear Mike, you know, playing a lot of local cats out there like, you know, Noah O, but Noah's not just local. He's, you know, big. He's pretty big. He's been on MTV.
Had him on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you got him, but you got some other people that I've seen say, hey, Mike Street, 106 just played my record. And see, that's what we used to do on KIE. We used to play demos of cats that had a good done. They sound good. We played them on the air and wouldn't have a problem. We used to do that. And I'm glad that Mike is doing that and stuff. And it plays such a big part in people's lives. And that's why we did what we did. We were able to just play music that people loved, and we wanted to be a part of their lives and possibly change their life, you know, for the good. And people come up to me a lot and say, you know, I've done this and did that for them and inspired them. And I think that's great. But, you know, the Z-Rock crew has inspired them, the Junior Funk Machine, the B-Side, you know, things like that. I mean, that makes it all worth living for, man. And we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to do it until we can't do it no more.
Right. That's a good way to end. I appreciate it. Sam, did you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Just thanks for your contributions. And I think it's great to be able to talk about these things, you know, years later, you know, especially growing up as a fan of hip hop, you know, and hearing some of the stories, you know, from your beginnings and your experiences and your trips and things like that, man. It's appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We got some other versions of the story. We got other versions. So, you know, offline, when we ever meet, you can ask us some other stuff. We can tell you some other stuff that we probably don't want to talk about right here. But I mean, it's good stuff. But yeah, we got some stories, man. We do.
I'm gonna keep that in my pocket next time I see you.
There you go.
We appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good rest of your day. We appreciate you running over and taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Yeah. Peace and blessings, man.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. Anytime.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
All right.
All right. Peace.